What's up? The NBA trade deadline just ended. It is currently 3:30 as I'm recording this, and I want to go through every single trade that is at least worthwhile to go through. A lot of them, or at least some of them, don't mean too much, but there are a lot of big ones out here and some notable names that got moved, and I would love to go sit down, give you some opinions on what I think this means for both teams or all of the teams involved. And I think this can be a lot of fun. So this first trade, we obviously know this went down last night around, what time was it, 5:30-ish, 5:40 when this happened. The Lakers are receiving D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. The Utah Jazz get Russell Westbrook, JTA, Damian Jones, the Lakers 2027 first round pick, which is top 4 protected, and the Timberwolves get Mike Conley and Nickeil Alexander-Walker and 3 second round picks. And this was just the start of it all, right? This was a pretty solid trade for the Lakers. I thought this was such a solid trade for the Lakers. I think that getting rid of Russell Westbrook was honestly a good thing. Not because D'Angelo Russell is a much better player than Russell Westbrook, but they really needed to get Russell Westbrook out of LA. A lot of the fans didn't like him. It seemed like he didn't mesh quite well with the organization or his teammates, which we knew from last season. So getting D'Angelo Russell back in return, I think, is honestly solid. D'Angelo Russell wanted out of Minnesota anyways, and we knew this. So I think that was a pretty solid trade for them. Mike Conley on his way to the Timberwolves. I mean, I think it's just something new for Minnesota. I don't really know how this is going to shape up for them. We obviously know that Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert have some history together, so maybe that's another reason to bring them in. Overall, not terrible from their standpoint of this trade. Obviously, the real winners here have to be the Los Angeles Lakers, getting D'Angelo Russell to fill in for Russell Westbrook. And D'Angelo Russell is a quality guard. He's obviously a starter in this league and deserves to be. That's a solid fill-in. Malik Beasley, another very good shooter, can fill in on the backup point guard position, can fill in as a shooting guard in the starting lineup if that has to happen. He's had a solid shooting season. He's been inconsistent as of late, but for the most part, he's had a pretty solid shooting season, so I think it's a very good pickup for them. Obviously, Jared Vanderbilt, another player out there that can pretty much do a lot of things, a lot of hustle, likes to get rebounds, likes to play some defense, can shoot. So I think that's another very positive thing for them. Just getting more quality depth and bench players on that team is very important for the lack of depth they had. Last year they struggled with old age. This year they struggle with a lot of just not quality players and not a lot of experience, and I think this trade helps them out a ton. Obviously, from the Jazz standpoint, Russell Westbrook might be a buyout. Who knows if he even sees a minute in Utah. JTA is a decent young piece. Damian Jones will be okay. So for the most part, the Jazz don't get much. The big thing for them is probably picking up that Lakers pick that all of us were thinking would be pretty valuable. But with this trade and some of the future ones that did end up happening today during the trade deadline, I think that pick may have a chance to decrease in value, but the 1 to 4 protected probably won't even happen anyway, so you'll end up getting that pick. Moving on, another decent one. Josh Hart traded from the Portland Trailblazers to the New York Knicks. The Portland Trailblazers then received Cam Reddish, Svi Mykhailiuk, a protected first-round pick. And I honestly think that for the Knicks, this is great. Josh Hart, great wing defender, hustles. He can shoot. And I honestly think Josh Hart's just a solid NBA player. On the other hand, the Trailblazers, what is going on with you guys? If you're a Blazers fan, please let me know your thoughts of this trade in the comments below. But what is happening in Portland? I don't quite understand this trade, and then the other one you guys have, we'll get to that one later, but this one was a little weird to me. Like it says down here, he has a strange contract, one of the league's funkiest. It says $12.9 million with a player option, but is also non-guaranteed. So either side of this team, so the team or the player, could walk away choosing that's what they want to do. Obviously, we know that Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart have history at Villanova. If you guys didn't see this video, I can tag it in the description or whatever. But it's just Jalen Brunson's wholesome reaction to finding out that Josh Hart is now his teammate, a couple brothers. So good for them. Overall, W trade for the Knicks. The Trailblazers a little confused. I mean, I guess just stacking up on, you get a first round pick, you get a young player. who knows how that's going to shape out for them. Hopefully Cam Reddish can get some touches out there and show his value on a new team. Next trade we're going to check out, Spurs trade center Jakob Poeltl to the Raptors. Jakob is going back to where he began his career anyways, in Toronto with the Raptors. Spurs are then receiving Khem Birch, protected 2024 first round pick, 2 future second round picks. I mean, if you're looking to stack up trade pieces and assets, the Spurs did a decent job here. Khem Birch, he'll be okay for them to fill in. But the big picks, or the big things here, are those picks, those 3 picks, 1 first, 2 seconds for a rebuilding team is very valuable. On the other end, the Toronto Raptors have been searching for a big man this whole season. Precious has been okay. Pascal has been stepping in as the center, and now they have a true center, a center that a lot of teams in the NBA have been really wanting. So overall, this kind of hints that the Toronto Raptors are still ready to make a push. They're not going to blow this thing up. They still have OG. They still have Pascal, still have Fred VanVleet and Scotty Barnes, and now you are throwing in a very, very good Jakob Poeltl into this mix, and I think that this is a recipe for success, hopefully, for the Toronto Raptors, who can hopefully turn their season around. Like I said, with the Spurs, you're just getting just assets really from this, nothing that is going to improve your team today, which is fine for a team that is probably trying to tank for Victor or Scoot. And probably the biggest one of the trade deadline, I was going to make a full video just for this one alone, but we can just get it out of the way now since this is such a fun one to talk about. The Suns receive Kevin Durant. The Nets receive Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson, 4 first-round picks plus a pick swap in 2028. So after Kyrie is dealt to Dallas, you now see that the Brooklyn Nets have his decision to make with their superstar Kevin Durant. Obviously, the Nets now receive Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson, and Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges being the 2 bigger pieces in this trade. Obviously, you get a lot of picks in return, which is what they need after giving all of their picks to Houston pretty much. Now you have young players in Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, both solid players. Also trade pieces in the future. You can do whatever you want with those guys, or you can keep them and hopefully build something up there. I mean, now they have some assets to move. Got a lot of 3-and-D wings. You've got a lot of players that can play the 4. You got some draft picks now. There's enough here to make moves if need be. Overall, I don't think the Nets are too terrible in this situation. I think that a lot of people are overreacting, saying that they're the biggest losers. But in all honesty, the Nets are not the biggest losers in this trade deadline at all. I think they came out with a solid haul for these players, especially knowing that most or both of these players were pretty disgruntled, either to start the year, throughout the year, even last year. At some point, both these players did not want to stay in Brooklyn, and they probably weren't going to stay in Brooklyn much longer. Obviously, Kevin Durant was the only one of the big 3 to continue his contract with the Brooklyn Nets, and now the Suns have him under contract for 4 years now, which is absolutely huge for them. Once Chris Paul is pretty much done there, which should hopefully be in the next, year, 2 years or whatever, you now have a very, very solid core of Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and DeAndre Ayton all under contract together, and that is enough to win you a lot of games for the next couple years for sure. So I think the Suns make out of this obviously with a very, very good haul. Kevin Durant and TJ Warren was thrown in this. I don't know why it doesn't say it on here. TJ Warren, another good, decent player to throw in now that you're losing, 3 small forward, power forward kind of players, wing players. So you get 2 more wing players in return. Doesn't make your loss too terrible. But Kevin Durant, the main piece here, and I think that this can really lead to a Suns title run either this year or next year. Hopefully this year. I'd love to see Kevin Durant make play some winning basketball. He's back over in the Western Conference. Overall, Nets, I think, to have a good haul here. 4 first-round picks and a pick swap is big, plus 3 solid younger-ish, or 2 younger-ish players. Jay Crowder is obviously probably going to get flipped if he has not. And like I said with Jay Crowder, we already knew that he was probably going to get flipped once he got there, and sure enough, he did. Jay Crowder's headed to Milwaukee in a 3-team deal. Bucks receive Jay Crowder. The Nets receive 5 second-round picks, so the Nets are just stacking up on assets, which is huge. A lot of second-round picks were traded in this deadline, which is, I guess, crazy. Do you have to put the stipend rule, as I used to say it? You put the stipend rule on second round picks now, so you can't trade back to back second round picks, and people are throwing out 5 second round picks at a time. Anyways, the Nets get 5 second round picks. The Pacers receive Serge Ibaka, Jordan Nwora, George Hill, and a second round pick. I don't know the Pacers' goal here. I guess Jordan Nwora is the big piece for them. Serge Ibaka and George Hill don't do much. They're going to sit on the bench. Serge might get some playing time, and I guess George Hill could see some backup minutes. He's back in Indiana, where he had most of his success in his career. But I think the big winner here obviously has to be the Bucks, right? They get their guy. They've been looking at Jay Crowder for a while. It took him going to a couple teams on the way to get there, but the Bucks got their guy. The Nets received just a lot more picks. They didn't need Jay Crowder, had zero use for him. So I guess the Nets are probably winners in this one, and the Pacers were just thrown in here for some reason. I don't quite know the reason behind that. Next up, Lakers send Thomas Bryant to the Nuggets. Nuggets receive Thomas Bryant. The Lakers receive Davon Reed and second-round picks in 2025, 2026, and 2029. The Nuggets obviously get a solid backup player here. Thomas Bryant was frustrated with his role in LA, especially after Anthony Davis has come back from his injury. So him being on the move now is solid. He's going to be on the first place team, the best team in the league now, has a chance to help a winning team win a championship. So obviously probably pretty excited about that. He's going to get a lot more minutes there. He's going to get a lot of playing time. He is going to help a team compete, which is ultimately the goal in the NBA, at least for most people. Lakers receive Davon Reed and a bunch of picks. I mean, the picks are fine. They're probably going to cut Reed if they haven't already. I don't quite remember. There's so much going on today. They'll probably waive him or buy him out or whatever needs to happen there, is just my guess. Trailblazers land Matisse Thybulle from the 76ers. The 76ers then receive Jaden McDaniels from the Hornets. The Hornets receive Svi and second round picks in 2024 and 2029. This one, a lot of these kind of went under the radar, so these are like legit reactions from me for this stuff. The Blazers, I guess, cool to receive Matisse Thybulle. Didn't get like much PT at all in his last couple years there in Philadelphia. So I guess good for him. He'll probably get a lot more PT out there. 76ers, Jalen McDaniels, actually a very solid pickup for them. I honestly think it's a better pickup than Matisse Thybulle, so I think that they're winning. They upgraded in that situation. The Trailblazers, like I said, receive a defensive-minded wing with not a ton of offensive potential, but who knows how it pans out, especially now that he's going to get more time there. The Hornets receive Svi and a couple picks. I mean, not much to say here. I don't know if the Hornets are necessarily even winners in this one. They're probably the losers, if anything, them or the Trailblazers. I think the Sixers are the obvious winners in this trade, but picking up a couple second-round picks are just being able to accumulate assets is always a solid thing in the league right now. Next up, we have a trade with the Clippers and Nuggets. Bones Highland is on his way to the Clippers. The Nuggets receive a second-round picks in 2024, 2025. I don't know much about this. Like I said, I haven't looked into a lot of these. This is my first time looking into them, so I'm kind of reacting to a lot of this stuff with you guys and just kind of taking a deeper dive into some of these trades that may have gotten blown over. And this is probably one of them for me. Highland was at near top of the list for players most likely to be traded at the deadline. He had fallen out of favor with the Nuggets and Coach Malone. They sparred over minutes, which is it's rightfully so. Bones, we obviously know, is one of the decent coming up players in the league. He's had some solid moments, and last season he even played really well. Denver didn't need him with a healthy Jamal Murray. Ish Smith, I guess, has been taking a lot of the backup minutes. I don't watch a ton of Denver Nuggets games with all the other games going on in the league, obviously, and they're the best ones, so I watch them a decent amount, but Ish Smith has been taking backup minutes apparently from Bones. The Clippers were desperate for upgrades at the point guard position. Highland, for his flaws, is a slight upgrade now over John Wall, who we saw John Wall is now out of here anyways. So I think Highland over John Wall, a smart choice. He's a young player and can hopefully develop. He's going to be on a winning team again, which is good for any young player, obviously. So I think it's a good trade for the Clippers. And the Nuggets, on the other hand, if they were looking to get rid of him anyways, I mean, 2 second-round picks might be might not be what they're looking for, the best thing they could have gotten. I think they could have gotten something else different from around the league. A lot of players, a lot of teams look into Bones Highland as somebody that can be pretty promising in the future. So maybe they could have gotten more, but I mean, I think it's safe to say that you can call this trade pretty even on both sides, as long as both teams got what they wanted out of this. As a Pistons fan, man, I have a lot to say about this one, so if you're not a Pistons fan, I'm sorry, but just hear me out, right? The Pistons received James Wiseman, the Hawks received Sadiq Bey, the Warriors received 5 second-round picks, which we then know the Warriors flipped those second-round picks for Gary Payton II. You guys will see that in a minute, but so they pretty much traded James Wiseman for Gary Payton II, got him back, and got rid of James Wiseman's headache out of there. Overall, the moving on from Saddiq Bey is tough for Piston fans, especially not because of his play, but because he has been one of those guys that we drafted from the beginning. He was, since we first started our rebuild under Troy Weaver, Saddiq and Isaiah Stewart were our guys, and it started with them. And now Saddiq leaving, he's currently the youngest player to hit, 300 3-pointers in Pistons history. I mean, he's solidified himself as one of the best 3-point shooters in Pistons history already. So the Hawks are receiving just a solid player, very young, talented basketball player who knows how to shoot the three. Obviously needs to work on his defense a lot, which is a downfall or a downside to him. The Pistons received James Wiseman. I mean, we have Durant, Wiseman, and Noel. We were thinking that Noel was going to get flipped at the trade deadline. He didn't get turned around at all, so we still have him. And I think with Durant starting, Wiseman coming in and getting backup minutes is probably his best case scenario for him as a player to hopefully get his value up. Maybe he contributes to us. Maybe we end up flipping him if he's able to get his value up. Now he gets some run on a team that's not trying to compete at all. We can throw him out there for 20 minutes and we don't have to get on him if we aren't winning these games. We don't have to sit him down when he makes a mistake. He can go out there and just finally hoop and be himself. Hopefully this is a good thing for him. The Warriors received 5 second-round picks. We already know what that goes towards. So overall, I was a little upset at first, but I think that there is some development purposes for the Wiseman pickup. And Saddiq, it's sad to see him go. We're definitely going to miss him. He definitely is a Pistons hooper at heart, so we will miss Saddiq for sure. This one was hilarious though. The Clippers send John Wall back to Houston, dude. Oh my gosh, you have to know he is pissed off. Everybody had to have seen him talking about how much he disliked his time in Houston. He's going back there and they're definitely going to buy him out. There's no way he sticks around in Houston any longer than whatever the buyout is. He's not going to play a second there. He's not going to put a jersey on there. He's not even going to live out there. He's going to get bought out and probably end up going. I think Phoenix was the team that was looking at him. But the big thing here to talk about, the Grizzlies received Luke Kennard, but the Clippers received Eric Gordon. They also misspelled Clippers here. Clippers received Eric Gordon. We've been waiting to see who he goes to so we can get out of that Houston situation and go be on a team that he can actually help win. And I think the Clippers are a solid pick for him. He's a shooter. He's back in Los Angeles where he used to be at back in the day. So cool to see him come around full circle and kind of end up there again. I think it's a solid pick for the Clippers, especially because they were looking for better guard play. So they got rid of John Wall, who didn't really get a ton of minutes. He was hurt a lot of the time. A lot of time he was resting. They pick up Bones Highland and Eric Gordon in all of this, which is honestly a pretty solid deadline for them. But they lose out on Luke Kennard, who is a pretty solid shooter, one of the better shooters in the league, who the Grizzlies now have. That is huge for the Grizzlies. They just added more shooting alongside John Morant. So, I mean, you can never go wrong with more shooting in this league. So Luke Kennard, a solid player for a lot of teams to have, and the Grizzlies should be stoked to have him. He is also an ex-Piston. Danny Green, 2023 first round pick swap on their way out to Houston. Danny Green, I'm assuming, might get bought out as well. I mean, I don't know what Houston really needs with him there anymore, but maybe he does stay. Who knows? On to the next. Patrick Beverly to Orlando, former Bamba. Yes, I do remember seeing this one. With Thomas Bryant out, Jared Vanderbilt coming in. That leaves you with who? Jared Vanderbilt, Rui, Anthony Davis, as kind of your big guys. Wenyen Gabriel is another one, yes, as your big guys. But now you bring in Mo Bamba, who can play those minutes. He's now contributing to a winning organization, which he has really yet to do. So, well, hopefully a winning organization. We're not quite sure about that yet. But solid for them. Pick up a backup just like they needed. Looks like the Lakers had a very good trade deadline. I think they filled a lot of the holes that they needed to. So very solid for them. Patrick Beverly to Orlando doesn't really mean much. I don't know what that does for Orlando. I guess they get a second round pick in this. Maybe they buy Patrick Beverly out. Maybe they let him ride out for the rest of the season, but he is on the Orlando Magic now, which I guess is whatever. Like I said earlier, with that Pistons, Hawks, and Warriors pick, the Warriors were grabbing 5 first round or second round picks, which they used here to then go out and get Gary Payton II, bring him back. He was on their championship team last year, and now he is back there again, which helps with their depth a lot. Now they have some more defense out there. Gary Payton did miss most of the beginning of the season with an injury, so hasn't had a ton of reps this season, but he's home where he had a lot of his success that led him to his contract now, where that started. So it's nice to see him back there. I think the Warriors fans are probably pretty happy with that, and I think that's a player that they really could use for this season, especially Steph Curry. As they say right here, he remains out beyond the All-Star break. Payton can now step in and help fill some of those roles. Looks like we're at the top of the article, and that, I guess, is all of it. Hopefully I covered everything. Obviously the big ones, Kyrie and Kevin Durant both getting traded. The Lakers made a lot of solid moves here. Surprised not to see the Chicago Bulls make any moves, especially with all the talk of Zach LaVine possibly to New York. Surprised the Pistons didn't trade Bojan a little bit. I think we were all expecting, Pistons fans expecting, that we were going to have another move after just the Wiseman deal, but that didn't happen, so we'll see how that works out. Portland made some questionable moves. I don't know how much they really did or what they really did to help Damian Lillard at all, so I guess who knows what's going on with that. Dame might be gone over the summer. I think a lot of us expected to see Miami make some moves as well. Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, maybe try and just beef up some of their bench play. Their guard play is really lackluster, and hopefully gear up for a playoff run, but it doesn't look like that was going to happen. So for the most part, I think my biggest losers have to probably be Portland, Chicago. I can't really think of any others. We missed one as well, I thought. Was it this one right here? Oh, the Clippers also traded away their point guard, Reggie Jackson, for Mason Plumlee. I completely skipped over that. I remember that Mason Plumlee went to the Clippers. Solid little pickup for the Clippers. I think they had a pretty solid deadline for them. And Reggie Jackson to the Hornets. Poor guy. But let me know your guys' thoughts. Was this one of the better trade deadlines that we have seen? Is it the best one ever? Shout out to Woj and Shams, obviously both working hard to give us all of those trade updates on Twitter. If you want to follow my Twitter, it is on the screen right now. Head on over there, drop me a follow. I'll follow back probably. I follow pretty much everybody back, so if you want to follow back from me, there you go. Other than that, yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I appreciate you guys sticking around through this whole video. I know it's a little bit longer, but yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.